All right, what's going on, big dog? So, Doom: The Dark Ages is finally here. It's finally out for everybody, and I actually had early access because I pre-ordered it. So I've been playing it and streaming it for the last couple days over on Twitch. So, starting off the video with a selfless plug there. If you guys want to check out the game, you want to come say hi, I'm live over on Twitch. Links will be down below. But with the selfish plug out of the way, Doom: The Dark Ages is finally here, and I have been like a kid hearing the ice cream truck coming down the street. Right, I have been giddy. I have been energetic. I've been ready. Like, I have been locked in, ready for this game to come out. I bought a bunch of energy drinks and like all the whole 9 yards, man. I got everything ready for me to play this game. And I gotta say, just right off the bat, I was not disappointed. As a big fan of Doom Eternal, like, I'm a huge Doom nut. I love the story. I love the character of the Doom guy slash Doom Slayer. The story to me is, although it's not like the most complex or anything like that, it's super cool. It's just badass and metal as hell. That's really why I like it. It's just cool. That's what the Doom guy, he's just a rad dude. Like, that's it. And I love it. And I guess that's like a perfect way to just start off this video, is we can go right into the story. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to give away any like endings or anything like that, right? I'm going to use footage from the more middle beginning of the game, somewhere in there. And I don't want to like actually talk about the story, but I just want to go over like what it does for the game. So the story overall is like an 8 out of 10, I guess. Like, if I had to give it a rating, it does its job, right? It progresses you through the game. It gets you your weapons at the correct time. At least how I feel anyways. Like, you get your super shotgun at the correct time, right? In the correct order. Like, it feels properly done, and the story does a good job of playing around that. It adds in some new elements to the story, and it also answers some questions to the story of like what was happening, because this game, for those of you who don't know, story wise takes place between Doom 64 and Doom 2016. So it's in the middle there, and I think it does a good job of answering questions and does a good job as well of like adding more questions and keeping you engaged with the story. It's not perfect. It's not like this beautifully written, perfect story. You know, it's not winning any Oscars or anything like that, but it did good. I think it did a good job. But I think most people, and this is just something I've noticed with the Doom community, most people obviously don't play this game for the story, and it's the new story that has been brought in of like the Doom guy becoming a god and all this other stuff has kind of divided the Doom community, at least from what I've seen on like forums and on Steam pages and stuff like that, where a lot of people think the story's stupid. They just want to kill demons. And I get that, but I'm somebody who enjoys the story. I think it's badass. I think it's metal. If you haven't, watched like a timeline video on it, I definitely recommend it before you play this game, because as you play this game, it just fills in pieces, which I really enjoy, and it just feels good. One little gripe I have about the story, though, is Doom has become such a fast-paced game. With this game having as many cutscenes as it does, I think it slows down like the gameplay aspect a little bit, and not always at the right place at the right time, if that makes sense. Like, you'll be in the middle of like just defeating a boss and doing all this, and you're like, obviously I'm gonna get a cutscene, but sometimes I think they just last too long, or like, I don't know. I feel like I get into a zone of like killing demons and flying around the map and using my shield bash and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into a cutscene that feels like it drags on sometimes, and then you kind of get out of your rhythm, out of your groove, and you die right away because you're just like, I'm trying to piece together this story, and it just kind of happened, I guess. But other than that, I think it did a good job. But like I said, I think most people are here just to kill demons. And how do you kill demons? Well, you focus on the gameplay and you focus on the guns. The guns in this game, in my opinion, might be the best in the series in just how they operate and how they are as like a gun. They're just cool. They're just badass. They're metal and medieval as fuck. Like, they fit really well into this world. They fit really well into like the era that they're in, and like this futuristic medieval. It's super badass. I love all of them. Like, the nail gun and even the new plasma gun is cool. The ball and chain gun is like my favorite one. I just think it's badass as fuck to shoot out a ball attached to it, like a heavy metal ball attached to the chain. Super badass. It's fun as hell. There's a bunch of combos you can do with it. I love it. It's my favorite gun in the game so far. Absolutely love it. So I don't have a lot to say about the guns, other than I think they're absolutely perfect. I think they're the best in the series so far. So I want to kind of dive in. I think this will be the longest part of the video, and that is the gameplay. So the gameplay to me, and to a lot of people in the community, is very divisive. I think the more common gamers, like people who just want to sit down and play a video game, one that maybe takes a little bit more focus, like Doom will, and one that might challenge you at times, I think this is a great game. This feels like an old classic, like early 2010s ish like game, like early Call of Duty, where like if you played it on the harder difficulty, like it was hard, it was difficult, you know, not the whole time, but it would test your strengths, you know, and test your knowledge of the game and its mechanics at basically every boss and stuff like that. And I think Doom the Dark Ages really does that. Like, I think it went back to that older formula of like, there's a bunch of fodder, like a bunch of just cannon fodder minions out there that you can just mow through. And then there's obviously the tougher guys that you have to watch out for. And as long as you're doing your job of like using the parrying system properly and stuff like that, they really don't serve much of a threat. And then you have your big like mini bosses and major bosses that are actual threats and are going to test your knowledge of the game and your ability to use your guns and your timing and all that type of stuff. Understanding where health pickups are, like, I think the gameplay loop is really fun and enjoyable, and I genuinely really like the pairing system. But I understand where a lot of people miss the Doom Eternal, like rapid fly around the map, parkour style, nothing but crazy finishing moves and kill cams and stuff like that. Like, I get it. I get why people like Doom Eternal's combat more. And I'll be honest, I'm one of them. This gameplay loop is not as engaging as Doom Eternal, but I feel like I'll play this game more because I don't need to be so locked in to play it, I guess. Like, this game feels more like I can just pick it up and play it when I, you know, want to play it, where Doom Eternal feels like I need to be ready to play it or the game will fuck me. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it feels. And same thing with like a Dark Souls game, you know, like if I want a chill RPG, I'll go play Skyrim. If I want one that I need to be locked in for, I'll go play Dark Souls. Same thing, just in the same franchise this time. So I do really enjoy that they went for a different combat style. Like, every game plays so differently. 2016, I believe it was a developer of the game or like the lead developer. I can't remember. Somebody will let me know in the comments. But somebody who worked on this game said that in Doom 2016, it was run and gun. In Doom Eternal, it was the flying around, crazy combat stuff. And in Doom the Dark Ages, you're going to stand and fight. And if you stand and fight, and you fight the demons like you're supposed to, you will get through the game no problem. If you try to sit back and dash around and do all this crazy stuff, you die. Like, if you play the game how it's meant to be played, you can run through it pretty easily, I'm going to be honest. It's nowhere near as hard as Eternal was. But I think, again, I think a lot more common people, common gamers, are going to enjoy this game a lot more because of that. Like, I remember reviews for Doom Eternal talking about how it was too difficult and it didn't cater to the common gamer and all that type of stuff. And I think this game does a good job of doing that, but I just enjoyed Eternal more. Like, I'm not a common guy who just is going to pick up a game, you know, once in a while. Like, I lock myself in, I get ready, you know what I mean? I'm on edge to play these games, you know what I mean? Now, the only other gripes that I did have with the gameplay is the mech suits and the dragons are mid as fuck. They're super mid. They are in like weird points in the story. Like, they make sense going by the storyline, but like, it's really weird flying the dragon around in like not getting shot at and not getting taken down, and then to go into like quick time events to take down ships or take down enemies. It's so weird. It's not like a cool mechanic. It's not like new or refreshing or anything like that. And it's not action packed like the game normally is. The first couple times that I was on the dragon, I was like, man, this is cool, this is fun. And then you are kind of like, man, I just want to get on the ground and fight demons. That's how it feels. Same thing with the mech. They're just not as like entertaining or as fun as I thought they were going to be. And then I wanted to also talk about like the maps. So this is not an open world game, but every level is like an open world section. And I think they did a really good job of, like, every Doom game before was like an arena shooter where you were in a room or you're in an arena and you had to clear out the arena before moving to the next one. And this one is like a big map where you can go wherever you want, but every section of the map feels like an arena. And I think they did a really good job with that. There'll be the north, east, and west side of the map. Let's just put it that way, for instance. So there's the north section, the east section, and the west section. And each section feels like its own arena and feels like its own challenge. So I think the map design was actually really good. Like, I think a lot of people were nervous about that, seeing that it was a little bit more open world. Like, you spawn into basically like a massive arena that has 4 or 5 little arenas in it, and you have to conquer each one of those little arenas to finish the map, if that makes sense. I don't think it like added or subtracted anything to the game. I never had an issue with it. I never thought to myself like, man, this map's too big, or this map's stupid, they didn't fill it up, or they didn't do, like, they did a good job. The map design's really good. They filled it up a lot. They gave you a lot of things to find, a lot of things to interact with and discover. Like, They did a good job. But other than that, there's just a few little things that I do have an issue with the game with, and I'm not going to dock them for a couple for these reasons, because they're just reasons that I personally miss, and I know a lot of people don't miss. So I'm not going to dock the game for these because it's just me being nitpicky. But one is there's no multiplayer. I love doing multiplayer. It's mindless fun. It's stupid. I love playing it with my friends. I love playing it with my like brother when we were younger. Like, it was fun as hell. I never got competitive with it. Like, I'm not good at the Doom multiplayer, but it's just fun. It's just fun. That's all it is. It's fast-paced action with blowing up bodies and throwing people around the arena, or fighting demons that are like way harder and way smarter because there's a person controlling it, which is crazy. I miss the multiplayer. I'm okay with them not having it with how good the story is and like how the game feels. I'm glad that they just focused on the game itself, on the story and that shit. But I do wish there was a multiplayer. Maybe we'll get one in an expansion or something. I don't know, but I miss it. There's not as many skins in this game now. I know a lot of them in Eternal were like, you had to buy them, which was gross and dumb. But I kind of wish there was more challenges and like more skins you could earn. You know, like I miss having the classic Doom skin as an option. I miss having like the fat American as my skin in Doom Eternal. Like, I think that stuff was fun. It made the game a little, less serious, I guess. And I think that's when Doom is at its best, when it's like this serious kill all demons game, but at the same time, like, oh, you have beer on your wrist instead of bullets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was fun. So I kind of wish they had a few of those in there. Another couple missing features I noticed are like, you can't change the HUD colors anymore unless I'm stupid and just can't find it, which, please, if I'm just missing it, tell me down below what setting to change. Because I just don't care for the color scheme of the new UI, the new HUD. It's fine. Like, it's a good HUD. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I just liked in Doom Eternal I could change the color. Again, it's just a nitpick, but whatever. But other than that, the game has been fantastic. I've had a great time playing it. It's fun. It gets me engaged, and I will probably play this through 3 or 4 times before I'm done with it, right? I want to get all the skins. I want to get all the achievements. And then I'll probably play it again when they come out with an expansion, because I'm sure they will. And then I'll play the expansion as well. So it's a great game. It is a great game. Now, final thoughts, just going to get them out of the way. Although the gameplay to me isn't as like engaging and makes you as hyper focused as Doom Eternal. Although the gameplay is a little bit slower, it's different. It's not the exact same game as Doom Eternal. I think a lot of people, if they did release a game like Doom Eternal, they would just call it a Doom Eternal clone. And the game would get bad ratings for that. So I'm glad they took a step in a different direction, and it paid off, because I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining, engaging, all that fun stuff. The story does its job. It's not perfect, but it does what it's supposed to do. And as somebody who's a Doom lore nut, I absolutely loved it. Can't really knock it for that. Like I said, story's like an 8 out of 10. Now, overall, through all the ups and downs of this game, one thing I do want to say before giving my final rating is I know a lot of people on AMD, on NVIDIA cards were having crash issues on PC, which is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I personally have an AMD card, so I never had any issues with this. I never had any issues with the game crashing. I never had issues with the game like bugging out. None of that. It just ran perfectly fine for me, and I loved it. It was fantastic, so I'm not going to be docking it for that. Honestly, I dock Bethesda for that, not the game itself or like its software. I'm going to dock them as a studio over the game itself, because they're the ones who program it. They're the ones who do that. If they get it fixed very quickly, that would be great. I know a lot of people have had that issue, and I'm even getting like messages on my screen now when I start the game, like, hey, we know there's an issue. If there is an issue, please reach out to us here. That type of stuff. Like, id Software has already put a message up when you launch the game that they know it's crashing a lot on NVIDIA drivers. So with that out of the way, that's everything I have to say. My final rating of Doom: The Dark Ages. I like Doom Eternal more. I do. But that doesn't take away for what this game is. Doom Eternal to me is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. From everything from the gameplay, the story, the graphics, the guns, everything is a 10 out of 10 in that game, especially the music. And Doom: The Dark Ages checks almost every box that Doom Eternal had kind of set out for itself, but it misses a little bit when it comes to the new style of combat for me, and with the combat with the dragon and the mech. It misses there. So my overall like review of the game is like an 8.5 to maybe a 9 out of 10. I guess my final rating then would be like an 8.7 if you want to be real technical with it. But overall, it is a fantastic game. If you have not picked it up yet, I highly recommend it. I think especially the more casual players are going to really, really enjoy this game. The more hardcore Doom fans are probably going to go back to Eternal and complain about how the Dark Ages isn't Eternal, but they'd be saying the same thing if the Dark Ages was Eternal. They'd be sitting there saying, oh, well, it's just an Eternal copy. They didn't do anything different. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like when you make a game as good as Eternal, you're never going to win that type of shit, you know? Like it's almost impossible to beat that. It's like when an artist releases a one-hit wonder. How are you ever going to live up to that? You're not. It's tough. It's really difficult. Maybe in the next game they will. But for now, this game is still amazing. It's still damn near a masterpiece to me. And I can't recommend it enough. But anyways, guys, that's really all I got for you. Sorry if I sound a little hoarse. My throat has been killing me today. I've been doing nothing but sitting in meetings for the last couple of days. And not that I've been talking or anything, but my throat has just been killing me. So sorry if I sound a little off, but that's just what's going on. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you did enjoy, remember, please leave a like, comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It all absolutely means a ton. Links to all my socials will be in the description down below. Especially come check me out on Twitter and on Twitch. That is where I'll be like posting updates on like videos and when I'm streaming and all that type of stuff. And especially Twitch, because that's probably the best place for you guys to reach me, honestly. I'm live almost every single day playing a lot of Doom the Dark Ages, but a variety of games. I play a whole lot of video games, dude. So, but otherwise, thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. And until the next video, guys, Godspeed.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me.